Hello all and welcome to Intermediate Algebra Online Math 095. This video is to introduce you to our course and show you how to get around a little bit. So right now I'm on the Crafton Hills College homepage and there's just a couple of things I want to show you. The first is under current students. You'll see something called Online Campus. And this gives you to a homepage that is full of all the things that you can do at Crafton without coming to campus. It's got online counseling, it's got a list of our online programs, web advisors here, online tutoring is here, the bookstore is here, and there's also a link to Canvas here. The most convenient way to get to Canvas is probably from logins because it's on every page and it's right at the top, but either way, you'll get to Canvas. And this is where our class would be. So to log in, it is the same login that you use for web advisor or for your student email. And you'll just hit the login button. And that should bring you to a landing page for Canvas. This will be full of whatever classes you are taking on campus that have been launched by the instructor. So you'll see I have quite a few. I have last year's and this year's up right now. Our class is right here, Intermediate Algebra. This is a fully online class. And once you've signed up for section 78, you'll also be in this hybrid course that has face-to-face meetings, which is the support course over here. So we're just going to focus on the online portion for this. So if I select the class, it'll bring me to our home page, which will look different right now for you because I'm not in student view. So let me hit the student view button. And now our pages should look the same. So the home page has the basics that you need for the class. At the top, you'll see the most recent announcements. There's a link for the Start Here module, a link to download the syllabus, to get to all the modules in general. And if you're wondering what that word means, modules are the way that the class is broken up into chunks. There's an Ask the Instructor discussion board, which is a great way to ask me general questions about the class. So this would be the kind of questions that you would normally just raise your hand at the beginning of class for, like, oh, I can't find the homework, or I'm not sure when this is due, or I can't figure out how to access this, or what's your expectation for discussions. All those kind of general questions that aren't about your personal grade would go into this discussion board. Going back to the home page, there's also an Ask a Classmate discussion board, and this is for you guys to ask each other questions. It's not graded. And this is the kind of questions that you would normally like lean over and whisper to your neighbor during lecture, like, did you hear what she said this was? Or did you hear when this is due? Those questions that for whatever reason you may not want to ask me, but you want to ask a peer. Okay, and then there's a link to all of our announcements, which is pretty empty right now, but as the class goes on, you'll see this fills up pretty quickly. Here's our basic course information, and here's the big picture course layout. So our course is broken up into 4 regular exams and 1 final, and that's what's kind of defining these units. So the first unit will lead us to the first exam, and the second unit will bring us to the second exam, and so on and so forth. If you select the units, it'll give you an overview. That you can't see right now because it's locked because we're not quite there yet. But normally this would bring you to a page with a nice big picture at the top and an overview of what that unit's going to help us understand. At the bottom, you'll see information for contacting me, including my email address. So this email address, using your student email account or the inbox over here on the left, are the 2 ways that you should email me. If you email me from your private account, like my name at gmail.com, it will often end up in spam, which means that I will never get it. So please use your student email and this email address, or just the inbox on the left to send me messages. You can also use the Ask the Instructor discussion board. And there's a couple of extra links down here just for some resources, technical requirements. So if you're not sure that your computer is up to par for the class, you can read through the technical requirements. Any new machine should be fine, new being the last 2 to 3 years. There's additional resources like Learning Math Online, Khan Academy will be in there. There's all of my instructor information, which is my about, and more information on getting a hold of me and my expectations for the class. And then there's an anonymous feedback link, and that lets you go in and just say like, hey, we're in section 78. I don't like this particular discussion topic, or I love this discussion topic and I wish we could spend more time on it, or hey, I don't think we cover graphing enough. Those things that you want to give me feedback, but maybe you're too shy to come forward and say it for whatever reason. I welcome that kind of feedback. If you want to spend more time on a subject, it's great to be able to give me that feedback so that I can expand on it. But if for whatever reason that you don't want to do that, you can use the anonymous feedback form to do so. Okay, going to our modules. I'm going to show you the Start Here module. This will tell you all about the course, but it's broken into chunks. Tell me about this course. How will I learn online? What about assessments and grading? How can I find help? What should I do next? If you select the first one, this welcome, you can read through it, and as you scroll down, you'll see this little blue line with the arrow that says hit the next button to continue, and you can just next your way through every page, and that way you're sure that you didn't miss anything. So you do not have to keep going back to modules and then clicking on the next page. You can just move forward through all of them. Once you select the first page, just keep hitting next and you'll make it all the way to the very end of the module. There's a couple of assignments hidden away in here. There's an assignment to review the syllabus, in which you just say, like in your own words, I read the syllabus. There's one to create a study schedule. And a note on this is that the study schedule that you make needs to include both time for our online class and time for our face-to-face portion. Going back to modules, there's, I think, one more hidden little assignment tucked away in here. Update your Canvas profile and then update your notification settings. This makes sure that you get notifications when you need them, so you can have Canvas send you a text message every time there's a new announcement, or you can turn that off. So you can go through the notifications and see what you're comfortable with, how much you want to get reminders. And then your Canvas profile is where you put your picture. We're an online class, so please put up a picture of some kind. This is the student version, so it's blank, but my account, I just have a picture of a cat, at least something to associate with your name. A note on these little icons. Woo, zoomed in too much. Okay, so the little piece of paper is just a regular page, which means that you click on it and read or watch the video or whatever happens to be there. The two talking bubbles are a discussion board, and anything with a pencil is an assignment, something that you need to do. Okay, so that brings us to our first week. You'll see objectives. You can read through the objectives, and then you'll hit next and get to a section of the book. So this is review of algebra. There's a video showing you how to get to My Math Lab and go through all of the videos in the book. So if you're missing little chunks here and there, you can kind of fill in the blanks like, oh, I remember how to do this, but I forgot how to add fractions without the same denominator. There's a nice big list of videos to be able to go hit up those areas where you're not really sure or you can't really remember, but you just need a little refresher. Our lab will also help with that a lot. I'm going to hit the next button one more time to show you this. This is my math lab. So I haven't signed up for it yet in this little pretend student account that I'm in. So that's what you would do here. You would hit the I accept, and then you would need to either log into your account if you already have one or create an account if you do not. So you just fill out the forms like usual, and once you're done signing up for it and paying for it, it's roughly $120. Then you'll be able to do all the homework in the class. So with that, I think I've covered the basics, how to get into the class, how to get to the homework, and what you need to be doing in this first week. There's a couple of discussions in here. So the ask a classmate and ask the instructor are not required. They're just for you to use as you need them. But there are some required discussions, a meet and greet to just introduce yourself, and a study room to ask questions as you're going over the review and the first couple of assignments of how do I do this, or did anybody come across this issue, or how do you solve this kind of problem. It's a great way to just kind of get together in little study groups and work through problems together. So from there, we're going to go over the basics for the class, how it's graded, what to expect. So like we said at the beginning, this is intermediate algebra. My name is Brandy Bayless. I'm the professor for this class. My office is in the Clock Tower building on the 3rd floor, and I have office hours Monday from 12 to 1 and Tuesday and Thursday from 8:30 to 9:30. If you can't get to those, it's fine. Just send me an email or use the chat system during those, and I'll be able to contact you right away. Otherwise, you can email me anytime at that bbayless@craftonhills.edu. Our required materials are that textbook that you can get through my math lab, Algebra Foundations by Martin Gay. Once you sign up for my math lab and pay that roughly $120 that my math lab costs, that'll get you the electronic version of the book. You don't need to pay for anything else. You need a computer and internet access because we're an online class. You'll need access to my math lab. You'll need a scientific calculator. Your phone will not do, and you cannot use a graphing calculator. Paper, pencil, notebooks, everything you would normally need for a math class. Because this is an online class, we don't have any formal lectures. When we get together for Math 995, that'll be a lab where you guys are working together in groups on problems, and I'm just kind of there to help guide or give mini lectures when we run into issues like, oh, we don't remember how to do this, or we could use some information on that, or we'd like to expand on this idea. My job is just kind of help push you to understand the concepts that we're doing and not so much just repeatedly do algebra until we can blindly do it. What we're trying to do is understand what we're doing. So that means that the time required for this online class is going to go up because you'll do your lectures at home and you also do your homework at home. So you can be looking at 20 hours a week for one class, plus the 4.5 hours a week we'll be spending in the lab. Hopefully, applying yourself in the lab will reduce the amount of time that you need to spend at home working on this. So I would suggest that you just keep increasing the amount of time you're spending on our class by, say, an hour or two a week until it gets to the point where it feels comfortable, you don't feel like you're rushed or that you don't feel like you're struggling to get the material done in time. And then just keep track of how much time that was and try and shoot for that every week. So it'll be different for all of us. Some people will need 12 hours and some people will need 24. It's just whatever you need for this class to be successful is up to you. Your homework assignments are 15% of your grade. The discussions are 10%. Quizzes are 5%. Exams are 40, so they're 10% each. And then the final exam is 30. And keep in mind that you also need a passing grade, something above 60% on the final to pass the class. Our letter grade grading scale is a normal scale. So A is 90 to 100, B is 80 to 89. And just a note on grades, I don't give grades, students earn them. So whatever percentage you earn reflects the letter grade you earn. All I do is look at the percentage and type in the grade that matches. So if you're on the border of a higher grade, then you should come talk to me before the class is over so that we can talk about what you can do to be able to earn that last little percentage to move you up to the next grade. Some things to keep in mind: no solution without supporting work will receive full credit, and that includes any solution that you provide in a discussion. Use of pen is not allowed on exams. Your lowest 4 homework sections will be dropped. There are no makeup quizzes, and 1 quiz will be dropped. And there are no makeup exams, and no exams will be dropped. Things that we should cover so that you don't come across them unexpectedly would be dropping an automatic fail. So if you miss the first exam, you may be dropped from the course. And if you do not complete the Start Here module before January 20th, which is the end of the first week, you may be dropped from the course. If you miss the final, you can automatically fail. And if you earn less than a 60% on the final, you're the highest grade you can possibly earn in the class is a D. Since this is an online class, attendance is not in person. It is just signing into Canvas twice a week to complete assignments. You can sign in way more than that if you like. If you want to sign in every day, just to make sure that you're tackling things and don't get overwhelmed, then that's a great idea. But you have to sign in at least twice a week. Netiquette is a fancy word for how we act online. So in a face-to-face class, you know how to behave. You know what behavior is okay for the classroom and what's not. Netiquette is that same idea for an online classroom. So there's lots of information in that Start Here module about what netiquette is and how to conduct yourself in discussion boards and in email. But just keep in mind that if behavior becomes disruptive or disrespectful, that I can remove a student from a discussion board, and if it becomes too disruptive or disrespectful, I can remove them from the class entirely or report them to student services, whatever's necessary. And finally, ending on a very positive note, there's extra credit in our class. There's extra credit opportunity before every exam. Extra credit can be earned by scoring 100% on the review quiz, which is offered before each exam. And the review quizzes are required. So that means that if you do the review quiz, then you're studying for the exam. If you get 100% on it, then you've got 100% on a review quiz to boost your quiz score. And if you get 100%, you get extra credit on the exam. So it's like triple dipping with one assignment, that you get a nice high quiz score, you get extra credit on the exam, and you're studying for the exam all with one assignment. Okay, that's it for our introduction video. I hope to see you all soon and talk to you soon through our discussion boards.